Soldier, keep on marching on. Head down till the work is done. Waiting on that morning sun. Soldier, keep on marching on. Head in the dust, feet in the fire. Labor on that midnight wire. Listening for that angel choir. You got nowhere to run. You wanna take a drink of that promised land.
It's a cloudy evening in Ottawa, Illinois, about 90 miles southwest of Chicago. Here in Ottawa, the driveway is lined with military colors. As you approach the installation of the wall, there is a sea of nearly 3,000 small American flags, each representing an Illinois soldier killed in Vietnam. There are 34 3-foot-tall white crosses, each with a name and photograph of someone from this area who died in the conflict.
I'm the liaison officer for the LaSalle County Veterans Tribute Group. And the reason why this means so much to me is both of my uncles served 3 tours in Vietnam, and they were spit at and degraded for many months after they came home. And everything that I have done thus far, it's always in my mind that what happened to these men and women when they came home was wrong. They were wronged, and this means a lot to me, and I hope everything comes out as wonderful as it seems like it's going to.
What hurts is it took so long for them to recognize us.
Yeah.
They threw us what they called a job fair for Vietnam vets. What it was a fiasco. It turned into a small little riot, and they were offering jobs to us, $1.50 pushing brooms. We could drive tanks. We could do anything,
Yeah.
but we're gonna get $1.50 to push a broom.
Yeah.
Oh, so full of joy when I see all my brothers and other people recognizing us and coming out to honor the people that gave their lives.
Every time a tearful reunion. You know, because we're not going to forget, ever. And our oath is forever. We signed that blank check. And some of us, it got cashed. And they're on that wall.
They all deserve the respect and everything that I was given when I came home, and that didn't happen, not for 1 or 2 of them. It didn't happen for any of them, except for their immediate families, and that's wrong.
Paul Chen is a Navy veteran from New Lenox, Illinois. He and his wife voluntarily drive the back roads of the country, delivering the memorial to its next stop.
We are the only couple from the state of Illinois ever to drive the wall. And me, it's going on 9 years, and my wife, 3 years full-time. So it's a pretty big honor.
My buddy Terry was in the Brownwater Navy on the riverboats, and he was on a night watch. And his boat captain come up from below, they're cooking some food, and he says, "Hey, go get something to eat." He says, "I'll take over for you." And no sooner did he sit down and switch places, but his boat captain was shot, and they hadn't killed. And Terry knows for a fact that they were zeroing on him when they switched places. And it's been preying on his mind ever since. So we put that wreath together for his buddy. Hopefully this will give him some closure. But at least he feels better that he got to lay a wreath for his buddy.
For most of the volunteers, it's this aspect of the memorial that's crucial, helping the younger generation understand the war and the cost of freedom and sacrifice.
All these volunteers, you cannot ask for a better bunch of people to come out here and help us get this done. I mean, we've had a few moments, but they've been very simple, and we've worked through them. Everybody's working together, and it's awesome. Hopefully it stays away the rest of the weekend.
For more than 3 decades, the memorial has given veterans and their families a chance to heal.
I was a Lance Corporal and I was a squad leader. It's hard to believe, but it's true. 3 good friends in my squad. I was squad leader. I lost 3 men who died. I lost 12 wounded, got medevac back to the States in about 9.5 months. There's 3 men on the wall right there. My best friend He actually died in my arms. He was hit out in the field. I was a squad leader. He was squad leader. He actually got hit with mortar rounds, took his leg, took his arm, part of his face. Time I got to him, they already had the medevac coming in. I held him until he got there. They medevaced him out, and I knew he was going to die, and he'd want to die. And I always wondered how his family would be right now. I know I got a family, I got grandkids, and I just wondered how the rest of them, and every one of these men on the wall got cheated out of life, and that's how I look at it. When I come to the wall, for me, it's I'm seeing old friends again. It's very emotional, but I get to see them, I get to talk to them. There isn't a day goes by I don't think of Vietnam. What I could have done different, what I should have done different. And it's something you don't get over.
Some who come are searching for the name of a friend or loved one. Others sit on benches either facing the wall or toward the crosses, seemingly lost in a jungle far away.
The wall, I've never been to the wall, a little tough. I've been to the moving wall one time. But the Vietnam Wall, I just haven't been able to go back. My family has, but I just can't do it. We got some close friends. We were good buddies, my platoon leaders on that wall, and Larry Paul. But I just can't do that yet. Someday I hope I can do it. Plan on going out in Veterans Day to see the Women's Memorial and the statues they have out there for them. They adopted every kid that, and I call them kids because I was 26 when I came home. They took such good care of them. We had them on board for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The nurses were 24/7. And so, in respect, that's what I'm going to do. And I think I'll get over there, but it's tough. Can't do it.
This week, visitors have come from all across the Midwest. Tennessee, Missouri, Ohio, but most are local.
I had lost my best friend in a friendly fire incident. In other words, I killed my best friend. And after that, I just became a machine. 32 West Line 31. Charles Nicholas Bondi. He was my best friend in Vietnam. The wall to me, the first time I went to D.C. to see the wall, I was really having problems. I hadn't sought any help, and my first wife had finally said, you should do something because you're pretty much out of control. And I said, I got to go to the wall. And my buddy's name was just above my handprint. And at that point, I just sat down on the ground and I spent the next hour in tears. But I've never felt that good again in my entire life. Because it was like somebody was taking the weight of the world off my shoulders. I could breathe again. I could think. I could feel again.
These names behind me paid for your freedom today. It is them we honor today, and all the veterans organizations have had a hand in making this event possible. The POW MIA Remembrance Table, conducted by the Marseilles, VFW, and American Legion. The small table is set for one, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner. The cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of our men and women's motives when answering the call to duty.
Two. Absolute. Two.
The single red rose, reminding us of the lives of these men and women, their loved ones and friends who keep the faith while seeking answers.
Absolute. Two.
A slice of lemon reminds us of the bitter fate of those missing, captured, and held as prisoners in foreign lands.
Absolute. Two.
A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears of our missing and their families, who long for answers after decades of uncertainty.
Absolute. Two.
The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home.
Absolute. Two.
The glass is inverted to symbolize the inability to share this evening's toast.
Absolute. Two.
Lastly, the chair is empty. They are missing. And please remember their service and sacrifice.
Absolute. Two. Right face. Forward. Huh.
Accounting for those lost, wounded, and killed is something that no family should have to go through. But Pat Katowski is a woman who is very strong and is going to share her experience about just that. Let's all welcome Pat Katowski.
My husband, Kenny Bose, was the first LaSalle County soldier to be killed.
We were kids. Young love, yeah. Plans. And a new baby. He was home for the birth of our daughter. Went back right after the first of the year. And then home again the first part of March. I think it was for about 28 days. And then left for Vietnam. So really short time he was there. I received a letter that told me he had been hit. He said, I've been hurt, but they're patching me up, they're sending me back out. And then the next day is the day that he was killed.
I was sitting in a chair feeding our daughter Dawn a bottle. She was just 3 months old. I saw an official car pull up in front of our house.
And I saw two gentlemen, and I got up and slammed the door. And my father looked at me kind of strange, and he said, "What are you doing?" He looked out the window, and his words were, "Oh my." So I just said to him, "Don't let them in, Dad. Don't let them in. I don't want to talk to them."
To the veterans that are here today, thank you for serving. I'm thankful for the new friendships I've made. Thank you for accepting me and for helping me through the last few months.
I never thought about them thinking of me as one of them, as someone who has been through all of what I've been through, and accepting me the way they have. And they're very kind. They're very nice. They're just good guys who've been through a tough time and who weren't accepted when they came back home and went through a lot of a lot of problems with dealing.
I was not quite 20 when I got out. I come back from Vietnam December 18th, and I didn't turn 21 until the 28th, so I had 10 days of sneaking beer at the VFW. I wouldn't go see the wall. I put a few of my friends on choppers that I don't know if they're on that wall or not. They were still alive the last time I seen them. I know about what the dates was, May and June in 1970, so I know what their last names was, and I don't want to see their name on that wall. So when it comes here, I'm not going to look. I'll pay my respects to the wall, but I don't want to know if they're on that wall or not. I hope they're having just as good a time as I am.
There's two reasons to come to the wall, in my opinion. Two main reasons, and that is to pay tribute to all those who sacrificed their lives in the service of our country, and also for those that need healing, their personal healing. That's a time and a place that it can happen. 2007, my wife and I went to the wall in Washington, D.C. I visited the wall 3 times during the week that we spent there. The third time was at night, and it was on the night of Veterans Day. The wall was a foot deep with flowers, beer cans, boots, all kinds of cards and mementos, and the right side of the walking path was all lined with standing wreaths from all the military organizations that participated in Vietnam. Just about all of them, I think, had wreaths there. It was an awesome experience, and I can't say that I really started to unravel the grief from all of the previous visits until my third visit at the wall itself during that week. That nighttime visit released many years of sadness. And so I look at this wall now as a reinforcement of that. Each time that you read these names, that's what's different about the wall. It's personal. It's like the tombstone that we never got to attend a funeral for. We never had the chance to say goodbye. We never got to say, it's just a very touching experience.
Next, we would like to present flowers to the families who have lost a loved one in the Vietnam conflict.
My uncle, Donald Zuckerka.
My brother, Louis Zucker.
My brother, Jerry Jerd.
My brother, Norman Treast.
When I got to Vietnam, I got there as a replacement in my company because my company was pulled out of the field because they were no longer combat effective. They had almost gotten wiped out. We lost 26 guys on the 28th of July, 1968. I came in the country about 2 weeks later. I was one of those replacements. Nobody wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, a long time ago, after one of my many nightmares, I had this poem start creeping into my mind. If I'm home, why am I feeling so alone? When I left to go there, I never felt this alone. 12,000 miles from home, scared and alone. No one wants to know me, so if I die, I'm still alone. I will only be missed by the ones I left at home. Then someone else arrives, scared and alone, far from home. He has that same lost look, but now he is no longer alone. Soon more come, lost at first, but no longer alone. We gather together every day. We are home and not alone. None of us leave this place because it's our sacred home. This beautiful black wall is our new home, and we are not alone. Some 58,267 of us died alone. Names on the wall, but not alone. Please, dear God, please, dear God, just welcome us home. We're tired of being alone.
I got a trip to Washington for our winter conference out there, and that's when I finally went and seen the wall. That was probably only 10, 12 years ago, so. But it kind of tore me up too. First thing I did is I walked up there and seen a birthday card that says, "I miss you, Daddy," and probably didn't even know their dad, you know. I go to the school and talk to the kids now. I've been doing that for the last 6 years, I think, at one of the local schools. And first thing I tell them is, you have no idea what life means to me. So I enjoy every day.
I was drafted in July of 1967. I served through 1968 and through September 69, where I got a medical discharge from wounds received in Southeast Asia known as Vietnam. I was told after I saw the movie Forrest Gump that I had a wound like Forrest Gump. It was $1 million wound, never did see the million though. Our 1st Century Division has a memorial in D.C. also, with, needless to say, a lot of the, at the time, young men that I served with in our company and our division.
Daryl Peters, would you come up and read the 33 names of the LaSalle County fallen?
It is a true honor to me because I have 2 uncles that served 3 tours each in Vietnam and came home safe. Thank God for that. But unfortunately, they both, because of Agent Orange, walked back into that wall. John Astor, Alan Arthur, Kenneth Bowes. Now, I pause a moment. There was a person that went to school with Kenny and went to boot camp with him at Fort Campbell and deployed to Vietnam with him. Came home and found out that Kenny had been killed in action and wrote a poem to Kenny. That poem is at the apex of the wall next to Kenny's cross, and his name is Gregory Thorson. Donald Butte, Cody Calkins, Daniel Carey, Martin Carr, Harold Delaney, William Diamond, Milfred Dingman.
The rifle is the most important tool of the United States fighting man or woman. It is the core of their livelihood and the key of their survival. It is thrust into the ground, signifying that the one being remembered died in battle, fighting to the end. It also signifies that the battle is over when the rifle is left this way. The boots carry a service member through the fight for our freedom. They are the first and most important means of transportation. The boots are placed at the base of the rifle. They are worn and dirty, reminding us of the final march of that last battle. The dog tags are worn by each service member. They have imprinted on them all the important identifying information regarding the individual. The dog tags are hung from the rifle so that the name of the fallen will never be forgotten. The cover. The cover is an important piece of protection on the battlefield. Some believe that the hat or helmet of the individual represents what that person stood for. And so the cover is placed on top of the rifle, signifying that the battle is over and a great sacrifice has been made. It will never be worn again. The Soldier's Cross, or Battlefield Cross, stands in tribute and memory as we remember and never forget.
Honor God. Attention. Prepare to fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. 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 Present arms.
Frankie Stanley from Sheridan, Illinois. Alan Arthur from Serena, Illinois.
Herbert Smith, 1967, Yunnan. Good friend.
Patrick Murphy. Michael Tully. Harold Brubaker.
But it gets hard to stand.
Harold Mayfield.
Soldier, keep on marching on. Head down till the work is done. Waiting on that morning sun. Soldier, keep on marching on.
There's 1,200 soldiers on there that their families have no idea where they're at. Kids in their late 40s see their dads on the wall that they never met. It's heart-wrenching. Taking this wall around, it means I'm bringing soldiers home that never came home.
The Moving Wall Memorial is already on its way to its next stop. This year's circuit ends at a New England Patriots game in November.
Marine Corps, it's only one branch of the service.
We got two Marines and two Army. Well, we ain't gonna say nothing. We don't want to get it on tape.
I've had this, and my wife was wanting me to write about it, and I never have, but maybe this video will get out to some soldier someplace. But I had a mission, and we went out to pick up a troop that was injured. We had to pull the guy up out of the trees, hanging about 80 feet below our helicopter, and then we took off back to the LZ we were going to take him to, where the aid station was. Well, we had to go up in the clouds to avoid, Charlie had a 51 cal set up on about 35-foot mountain. So we went up in the clouds to avoid him. And the crew chief said to me, hey, Jack, I can't see this guy down there anymore. And I'd flying on instruments, and I totally forgot I had him down there. Anyway, I slowed down. The cable was back at an angle like this, and he's flying through the air at 80 knots. 100 feet below this helicopter, which he couldn't see. If our crew chiefs couldn't see him, he couldn't see us, but he could hear us. And we finally got over the LZ, put him down, cut the cable, and the guy on the ground said, "You're going to stop and pick up your equipment?" I said, "No way, that guy might have a gun." So I took him, we took off, went back to our base. Someplace around this country, there's a guy talking about flying through the air that nobody believes for 10 minutes on a 1/4-inch cable in the clouds underneath the helicopter. And maybe we can get back in touch, but I'm sorry I had to do that to you, but I know you made it back. I was afraid of you, though, I'll tell you this. I would not land